We've reached that portion of our meeting in the agenda. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board? Yes, sir. During this time, the board does not answer questions or engage in debate. No member of the public may comment about matters that are not within the purview of the county commissioner's responsibility. The commissioners are not expected to comment on matters brought to the board during this time. Each speaker will only speak once and shall be recognized by the president. In accordance with our board rules of procedure, your comments are limited to 5 minutes.
Thank you, Commissioner Humphrey. My name is Chris Hicks. I'm from 444 Woodward Court, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45255. And I a little bit feel like I get read my Miranda rights whenever I'm here. But I appreciate it. Just a quick side comment. When you talked about Newtonsville, I thought that was very interesting. And I actually thought there were some really good comments. But I think one of the reasons why citizens get jaded on public input that I wrote down here is we tried it easy. Now we're going to try it hard. Right? And maybe we just need to start trying it honest from the beginning. So not bend the rules on approvals, treat everybody the same, treat them fair. Because I think people feel like sometimes they get asked for these public inputs, and then the next thing they know, it's like, why the hell did you ask me for public input? Because now you're going to force it on me, right? So I think we can have a new spirit. Now, what I'm here to talk about, though, is that you guys have an important responsibility. You've exercised it before. Back in 2012, you had the ability to change out the CVB board, which you still have. To get it to be the way you wanted it to be. And what I'm saying right now is you have two abilities. One is to change out the CVB board with people who are going to be for transparency and open up the books during that 5-year period from 2012 to 2018, in which Mr. Ubel described in his own email as he did a coup d'etat to take over the organization. That's one thing you have. $3.5 million went through there, 96% taxpayer funded. The citizens deserve to know how that money was spent. We already know that part of it was spent with Chris Smith, Mr. Ubel's former CEO and campaign manager and treasurer. We already know that part of that money was spent with Jim Komodeka, another business associate of Mr. Ubel's. But that's one option you have, replacing the CVB board. Second thing is you can stop the authorization of our current CVB being the CVB. You guys are the ones that determine who gets that money and who's recognized. You have the power of the purse. So if I go right down the line, I don't expect that Mr. Ubel would be supportive of either of these measures, switching out the CVB or stopping the authorization to get them to be transparent. I think he's got things to hide about how the money was used, to be frank. Mr. Humphrey, you told me in an email that you want to insist on it because you're a guy that doesn't interfere in private business. Well, this private business was taken over by the government. You were part of it. When it happened, and this private business is 96% funded by the taxpayers. It's not a private business, it's nonsense. You have the power of the purse, you have a responsibility to the citizens. It's funny, one of my buddies, when I saw it, he says, I cannot believe anybody in government would give so much money to an organization without any accountability. It's shameful. Now, Commissioner Painter, I think I know how you feel, actually, and I'm hoping that you at some point take the opportunity to either make a public statement yourself that you support opening the books so the citizens can see where their $3.5 million went, or at least making a motion here on one of the two options you have legally that you could take using the power of the purse to force your colleagues to either second it or not and force there to be a vote up or down so the citizens can know who of our commissioners supports public transparency on a period of time where $3.5 million of their money was spent. I've been going around to townships. There's townships that are worried that if an engine blows out in their EMT unit, they don't have the money to replace it, including Ohio Township. $3.5 million is a lot of money. The idea that that has been given to an organization that we know was taken over in a coup d'etat, as described by Mr. Ubel in his own emails, and there is no accountability and there's no outrage from our elected officials that the money may have been misused. We know it was misused on some stuff. Shouldn't have been used on contracts for Komodeka. Shouldn't have been used on contracts for Chris Smith. So I would ask you all to move in the direction of not saying you support transparency, but actually supporting transparency and using your power of the purse. I appreciate the opportunity to bring this issue to your attention, and I hope to see some character-based action in the near future.